Hello, welcome to the Basketball Addicts YouTube short and podcast. So basically, today we're going to be talking about the Orlando Magic, and we're going to be talking about how they can get better because there's some pieces about the Orlando Magic that I really love moving forward. Um, so we're going to talk about tiers of players, what players are. Um, we're going to basically be breaking these things down. So let's just get right into it. First things first, I love the coach. Now, I had never really heard of Jamal Mosley before he became the Orlando Magic coach. But I really feel like he is maximizing. I really believe that he's doing a good job of, okay, we're starting Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony, but we're rotating them out in and out. So basically, whenever Cole Anthony's out of the game, usually Jalen Suggs is in the game. It's kind of like what the Rockets used to do with James Harden and Chris Paul, where it'd be 48 minutes of you. Then all of them, one of them's going to be on the floor. So I like that. So basically, I really like the way he runs his offense. There's a lot of off-ball stuff moving, a lot of pick and roll. I think the defense moves well, has good like X's and O's, and I really like the look of the way the Orlando Magic are playing, and the way they're being coached to play, and the style and the way they attack. I think that whatever the maximum amount of wins that a team with young talent like this that are developing, that are not that developed yet, can reach wins wise is what they're going to be. And I think that's a great compliment to a young head coach. A lot of times, these young head coaches are going to get fired because of win-loss record, and it might not be as good because their maximum might be 30 wins this year. But I think they'll reach it with this coach. I really am impressed. He might be a guy under the radar that might grow as time goes on here. So congratulations to Jamal Mosley, head coach of the Magic. All right, now let's kick it into the young guys. What I see some developmental things and how I think I would do things differently. I like the fact that they're doing the rules rotation with Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs, but the reality is, at the end of games, it's always going to be Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony, and Cole Anthony is already the better shot creator and has more upside as the shot creator. But Jalen Suggs is a really good high basketball IQ heady point guard. Now he might not be the shot creator that Cole Anthony is. But Jalen Suggs does have good potential to be, your point guard of I may have good assists, I improve my teammates, all those type of things. So basically, you have two conflicting forces at the point guard position that I don't really think fit well together long term. So that's kind of the root of the cause there. I love Franz Wagner, good passer. Coming out of college, he was good out of the pick and roll, and I didn't see much shot creation, and I don't really see a ton of it now still. But I really do think he's one of those guys that passes well. He's going to shoot well. He defends well at a high level. Basically, what I'm describing is a guy that can be a good player, an NBA champion. I think he has the potential to be that one day, like a role player, a 2 or a 3, or the fourth best player on the team. But he's really good. You know what I mean? One of those guys, kind of like the effect of Lonzo Ball. Like Lonzo Ball right now is a really good player on a winning team. Kind of like that in a general sense. But he doesn't have the scoring potential to average like 24 or 25 one day. But I can see him averaging 20, which is great. Mo Bamba's starting to come into form defensively. I think he just needs to learn to play with a little bit more of an edge, and then it's gonna start clicking for him. Wendell Carter Jr. is a nice fit at the forward position. He does shoot the 3-point ball really well. Um, he definitely is not a center. He's found his role in a team that wants to play a bigger lineup that's going to be a good power forward, kind of just like in the '90s, a traditional power forward is what he is. Um, RJ Hampton's really raw. It's really hard to get a gauge on what he's going to be. Gary Harris doesn't really get a ton of minutes. And Terrence Ross is probably he's a really good scorer off the bench. He probably, once his contract is up, will be a nice role player for a good NBA team again. So basically, what I just said is where I'm going with this. You have two guys that I feel like are locks to be at least good players on an NBA, good starters on an NBA championship level team, or a team that wants or is a contender. And I think that's Franz Wagner and Mo Bamba. I feel like those are the two guys I'm sure about you should hold on to. So what I would do is I would either pair Cole Anthony with, let's say, RJ Hampton and Wendell Carter for a great two guard, or Jalen Suggs for a great young two guard. So basically, what I'm saying there is they have the negative thing of Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony's just not going to be a good fit. So when you put those two things together, you definitely have the need to just try to get yourself a superstar or a guy who can be a star. So I personally would make a move. I would trade some young assets. A lot of teams make this mistake when they have a young player at every position. Then they'll just like, okay, we're just gonna draft depth with the fourth pick in the draft. Like they're gonna have a losing record this year, right? They're not gonna be a good team. So I would definitely not get too caught up into just like, oh, we're just gonna develop these five guys together, because none of their potential is star. There's a few guys like I described earlier that can become a really good starting players for an NBA champion. An example of somebody I would try to get is, let's say, maybe RJ Barrett, somebody like that. Or let's say, Karis LeVert's a really good young shooting guard. He would fit really well there. Somebody like that has, upside and potential. That's somebody I would go try to get. Or maybe if there's a great shooting guard in the draft, or the number one pick in the draft is somebody you really believe that could become a superstar. I haven't watched Chet Holmgren yet, so I don't know yet. But what if Chet Holmgren's this like slam dunk number one pick? Trade all those assets and get him. And so that's kind of the move I would be making. I would be saying, okay, we have some good young assets, and there's some good players that can really fit on a good winning team. Let's surround them with a superstar, a guy with real superstar talent, like a Ja Morant. We all know he can be a superstar one day. And Jaren Jackson and Mo Bamba are similar, where they can be really good players on a very good winning team. Everybody sees that potential. So that's kind of where we're going with this. I would blow it up a little bit, but there's a few guys that I really like. Franz Wagner and Mo Bamba. I would say Cole Anthony does have the potential to be a borderline all-star, and Jalen Suggs is kind of around the same spot, but they just don't mesh well. They're even a worse pairing than Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, which I keep on talking about how they're not a good pairing, so that should tell you. It's not a really good pairing. But yeah, I love the coach. I love Wagner and Bamba, and I would trade the young guys to get a superstar. Okay, guy with superstar upside and build. Then I think you can be talking about something. So yeah, that's how I would improve the Orlando Magic. This is a YouTube short. You can, since we're young in the phase of being on YouTube and Spotify, hitting that comment button, the like button, the subscribe button, extremely helpful to us. Downloading on YouTube. I'm not hitting the download button